I'd just like to welcome you along to this edition of Bunkai Strategies and let you know that in this one we're going to be having a look at our technique of the week, we're going to have a look at our principle of the week, and I've got a question right back to you. So in this week's section of Ask Me, what we've got is a question from Charlene Green, who wants to know about this move from Bunkai. And this is one of the ones where quite frequently books get it quite right. They pick a distance that works, they pick a type of attack that could happen, and then they promptly show how we push through here and come down this way to collapse the aggressor, which all sounds very good. Only it occurs right in the middle of a kata. So when something occurs right in the middle of the kata, we sometimes like to think that perhaps the situation's a little bit further on from someone grabbing my wrist at this kind of point of the conversation. So instead, let's get right into it. Let's have a look at what happens when he throws in a big right hook. First off, don't let him hit you. And what we've done there, just in case you didn't see, was that as this came in, we've come across here, roped it down, meaning it's actually attached itself to my side, and then I've come up underneath the elbow to get that locked, while this hand has shot up here and taken hold and come down into the throat. So in that case, I needed this arm to assist, and I needed this hand to come up and down. You know, in the kata it comes up and down. So what we didn't do was, if we had that single grab like that, we could just go fall off. You've got to say, why the assisting hand? Well, the assisting hand in this situation is to keep the fingers trapped on while we drop the attacker. But in the situation I've just given you, that big right hook, this hand's necessary to capture, take, then we take the attacker at the throat and pull down. The angle of the arm, 45 degrees forwards and up, is to prevent the attacker from removing this. If I grab like this, Peter can just take his hand away. By taking this across the elbow and upwards, now even without this on, I've still got something very effective. Can you move from there? So this has come into here. What does this do? All sorts of things. We've got the grab up here and the pull down. We can go in a little bit lower and just control the airway. There's all sorts of things we can do with this hand. Essentially, grabbing the neck should become an easy thing to locate, you know, what it does for you. But for me, it's all about what the assisting hand does, because that's the part that's quite misunderstood. So here we go with our principle of the week, and in this case I'm going to mention redundancy. When you had a look at the technique of the week just now, the piece of Bunkai that we were looking at, the question comes back as to where this hand goes when it goes up to the neck. And what we like to look at is the failure rate. What happens when it doesn't quite go exactly where you want it to? Now, we happen to know that level with the bottom of the voice box here, there's a target that we really like to use. It's a baroreceptor. That's a blood pressure measuring device inside the body. It tells the body when the blood pressure is too high or too low. And when we give that a nasty little shot, the natural reaction of the body is to want to go to sleep. So that means it would lie down and the blood pressure would equalise again without the stresses of being awake and whatever is causing that adrenaline surge and that build-up of tension in the body. So how we reach that in the kata is by this hand coming up. Maybe it strikes first and then wraps down. Depends on which way you look at it. But essentially the hand starts high and drags down. And then it will catch something useful. And people will always go, well, what if you miss? Well, that's why we like to put in a layer of redundancy into the technique. If the technique has redundancy in it, then you can say, if I miss my point, I'll still have something super effective. So I'm just going to use the other hand so that you can see around this side of Pete's neck, rather than me demonstrating on the left hand side, which is just that little bit closer to the heart. If I come around this side and the hand grabs up too high, it comes up here and it catches muscle instead, then that's still going to be useful. If it comes down too far to the front and it ends up with the airway instead, that's still going to be useful. If it doesn't quite go up high enough but starts down too low, it's still going to be useful. And this is the key. This is what I was talking about. This is our principle of the week. The redundancy of the technique is the part that tells us, you know what, this is going to be really good even if I don't pull off the exact bit that I really, really want to. If I get the exact thing and going just there, then we end up with an effect that comes on a little bit quicker than most people would like. So you have to be very, very careful. Now I've just prodded. You put your whole hand in and gouge, you get it. Again, whenever we look at these kind of techniques, we have to remind ourselves, we have to remind anyone watching that these are not for fun, they are not for messing around with, they're not for use in competition. This is about self-defense and what the kata might originally have been intended to do. So, in our segment here where I'm going to put a question to you, my question to you for this week is going to be, thanks to Kyle Rusby, who suggested it, what is the exception to allowing redundancy? When is redundancy not a good thing? So that's quite a wide one for you. And I hope that you can come back to us with something that we can then take on and turn into a further development of our art, development of our learning process. So for now, for today, that's our question. In what kind of situation, in what kind of technique, in what kind of constructed set of availability can you think that our technique would not have redundancy built in?